Now, one story that's been brought to our attention during the week is that of the senior girls team, girls Gaelic football team that is, in St. Clare's Comprehensive School in Manorhamilton. Now, we're in a kind of almost a deja vu situation with this particular team, because for the second time in 3 seasons, this group of girls have got to an All-Ireland final, and through, I suppose, a cancellation and a concession 2 years ago, the game wasn't played. The girls were awarded the final, and this year, due to COVID, the LGFA at national level have come out and said the game will not be taking place and nobody's going to be awarded the title. So while it worked out in your favour 2 years ago, I know you would have liked the opportunity to play in an All-Ireland final. I'm joined in today's show by Hannah Johnson, Emma McLaughlin, Rachel Conlon and Rachel McPartlin, and we're going to have a little chat about the circumstances behind it, maybe what they would like to see happen over the next couple of months or weeks, or maybe at some point in the future, to get that game played. Girls, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan.
Now, there's a lot of voices, so we'll try and identify ourselves. I'll ask you kind of by name maybe over the next couple of minutes as to give your contributions to the show. But I want to start first of all with the actual statement that came out from the LGFA a couple of weeks ago now, in terms of what has been said about all of the competitions they've cancelled, because it's not just this competition that didn't happen. Leitrim won't be playing their National League games, and at all levels, all inter-county activity has been stopped, with the championships to come later in the season. So the LGFA reiterated its extremely tough decision, originally taken in March, to cancel the remainder of the PPS All-Ireland Championships for 2020. The statement goes on to say, "We will not be revisiting decisions relating to the health and safety of our members, which remain wholly relevant, and we consider these matters closed." Now, it does go on a lot more in terms of that, but I suppose since then, the boys' A final has taken place between St. Joseph's, Rochford Bridge and Naas CBS, and that was played in mid-July, and I suppose there's no movement from the LGFA in order to play the girls' versions of those particular competitions. I know there was also, I suppose, a lot of discussion about the Senior Cup final in the rugby. I know, Hannah, you probably are aware of this. It was brought up in the Dáil or in the Senate a couple of weeks ago. It got a lot of derision. Where are you girls? Because ultimately you were in an All-Ireland final that you qualified for on merit, second time in 2 years, and you're not going to get to play the game. How do you feel? Rachel, you're the one that contacted the show about it. What's your thoughts on it? Rachel, my partner, that is. What's your thoughts?
Well, obviously we were very disappointed back in March, but you know, we knew, because of the unprecedented circumstances, we understood that the LGFA had to cancel matches. But seeing then a few weeks ago that statement come out, particularly when the boys' final was played, it was kind of frustrating on our part, but also very disappointing, because we understand, the LGFA have cancelled the National League, but they still had many games left to play. We have one game, both teams want to play it. We're not asking for it now, but the inter-county season is supposed to start, I think it's on the 14th of September, and we will play any time after that, next year even. We just want confirmation from the LGFA that they will play. Both schools want to do this, particularly because we have a lot of leaving certs on the team, and we see no reason why they've taken such a closed stance to this.
Let's talk to some of the other girls. Emma McLaughlin, what's your thoughts on the situation?
I do think the LGFA made a rash decision, but I completely understand their point of view and how difficult of a position they have been put in. And I understand that there's so many games and so many other football teams in our position. And I just think that it's so disappointing, it's so frustrating for us because of what happened 2 years ago, but just this year we felt like we have the opportunity and we should be able to play in this final. We are willing to play it behind closed doors. We don't need a big fuss made. That's not why we're coming on here. We just want to play the final, and we've worked hard for this, and we know the other team have too. And I just think we need to be given the fair chance. And the fact that the boys also got to play, I don't think it's fair. I know they're completely two separate situations, two different organisations, but I do think the LGFA should just maybe look again and maybe hopefully renew what they've come out and said and possibly give us this chance.
You're right in so many things you said, because it is very different to the National League, where there was 2 or 3 rounds plus knockout stages. It's a one game, one venue, behind closed doors. Can you see where the LGFA have made this decision from those. Hannah, do you understand maybe why the LGFA have come to this decision?
Yeah, like it's completely understandable. Like it's a pandemic, for God's sake, a global pandemic. But at the same time, as you said, it's one game. Like club championship is back, football is back essentially. Like, could we not just, give us a chance to play this literally one game? Do you know what we're saying?
60 minutes, that's all we want.
Rachel Conlon, let's bring you into this. It's going to be confusing with the two Rachels here. But Rachel, let's have a chat a moment about your experience of the football that has been back so far. There were guidelines set out. Can you say honestly, hand on heart, that every club has followed those guidelines to the letter?
Well, I suppose every club does their best to follow all the guidelines, and we all, before matches and training, we all renew our status online. So safety precautions are being taken. So we think that before, if we were to play this game, we could do whatever needed to be done to ensure the safety of players and managers and everything. As we said, it could be behind closed doors. Our club championships and everything, they're all running smoothly. So we don't see why one match would be different to the rest.
And I suppose we must remember also that maybe 8 or 9 counties in the country have really had maybe 1-2 cases, have less than 5 cases in the last couple of weeks. So it doesn't even have to come to here, it could be played in any one of those counties. Everyone just travel there, play the game. What are your next steps? You've obviously started a petition. Rachel, maybe you might tell us a bit about the petition you've started.
So we've started a petition with the other schools, so St. Joseph's, and along with the 2 senior A teams as well, they're going to start a petition. So we've all come together and we're looking for as many signatures as possible. Obviously this is our first interview and we'll be looking for many more, but we've made Facebook pages, St. Clare Senior Girls Gaelic, and we're just looking for the LGFA, like regardless of county colours. Even with the 2020 campaign that is this year, they're pushing for equality in women's in sport, and their slogan is, if she can't see it, she can't be it. And the LGFA aren't letting us play, so how are we supposed to be seen if they're not giving us the opportunity?
Okay, now I want you to do a little bit of exercise, maybe as a group. Let's say, for example, the 4 of you were in charge of the LGFA right now, okay? And we're going to come up with a fictional situation where there's a team from Kerry and a team from Derry to play a game, right? Both counties, relatively low counts, similar situations to your own, but we are in a global pandemic. What do you do in that situation?
I guess if we were in charge of the LGFA, if I was in charge of the LGFA, no disrespect to the LGFA or anything, but I wouldn't completely rule it out completely, especially like it's completely unknown territory. Nobody knows what's coming around the corner. So don't terminate all ties to the future. So what I would do is I would say, okay, at the moment, maybe not, because we're still looking for cases to go down. But in the future, as Rachel said, county championship is back on the 14th of September.
Yeah, we think it's around the 14th of September. So obviously they have guidelines in place now for that.
So obviously Derry and Kerry, 2 different counties. I think wait till that date at least, and then after that, see can you come up with a date and a venue somewhere, I don't know, maybe in the middle. Try to avoid maybe Kildare and Offaly and Leitrim. But given the current situation. But let them play that behind closed doors, just as long as they've worked so, I know that's a hypothetical, but they've worked so hard for this. So just let them play it after that date in as safe a way as possible.
Anyone else have any yeses or nos to that?
I just think one of the most important things is not to make such a closed decision. To make it more open and give a chance to the players. If we were in charge of the LGFA, we'd put our own perspective, and we'd look at the players' perspective and think about all the training.
We started last September training.
And it's very rare to get a chance to play in an All-Ireland final, so to not just completely shut that down.
I did do a little bit of research. It's only happened, I think, 5 times at any level, at senior or junior level, that a Leitrim club, or Leitrim school, should I say, has got to an All-Ireland final. 2 of them have been you. Neither of those games are now likely to be played. So I think it's such a huge achievement for a school in a small part of the country, and I think I completely endorse your campaign to get the game played. I think there are steps, again, maybe not necessarily in the immediate future, even if it was at Christmas holidays
Yeah,
or even
exactly.
next Easter. I
Yeah.
think the very nature of school sports, given that you're probably all, maybe not necessarily in Manorhamilton because you're all, it's a big catchment area, but schools and clubs, and I guarantee there's probably girls from Fermanagh, there might be one or two from Cavan or whatever, do you know what I mean, that are in the school, and
Yeah.
you will never get that group of players together again.
Exactly.
And
With
I
such it really is such a special group because
Yeah, we've all
it's the
bonded,
same
like,
group
yeah.
that was in the All Ireland final
yeah,
the last
basically
time.
the same team. Yeah.
We'll never have it again.
Yeah.
It is heartbreaking for you, and I sincerely hope you get the best of luck with your campaign, with your petition. I think common sense, Hannah, your suggestion pretty much hits the nail on the head of what I was kind of expecting you to say. It doesn't really make sense to rule it out completely,
Yeah.
although it's kind of a blanket ban, I get that,
Yeah.
but you're asking for one small exception. You're not asking for them to go back and play all the other
60 minutes,
competitions,
that's all,
and
yeah.
it's one game, one venue.
Yeah.
Do it in as safe a way as possible for everybody. It can happen at elite level in all the sports in the country at the moment, so here's hoping you get a bit of luck with that as well. Girls, thank you very much for dropping in, and I wish you the very, very best of luck with your campaign. We will be sharing the link where people can subscribe to that.
Yeah, so we're asking people to please sign the petition. Like, not just that this doesn't just involve us, this involves all sports. Like, we're really trying to push equality with women in sport, and it would really help us to get a lot of signatures. So
Okay, well, out of the mouth of teenagers in Leitrim at the moment, the very best of luck to the four of you, to Hannah, Emma and the two Rachels for coming in and having a chat with us. I wish you the very best of luck. All of the links will be in our descriptions and in our all the notes on the show wherever you're listening to this. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bethany. Thanks for having us.